find for us to get together and have conversations that can move our community to somewhere far more better than we are. Another day for us to get together and talk about things that matter to us, talk about things that we deem important, talk about things that we know it's important. Another day for us to get together and talk about things that are happening, things that are trending, especially things that financially are going to affect us as a community if we don't understand and know how they work. Um, ooh, I like the fact that this segment is consistent. I like the fact that uh, we are making it a habit. In any good thing we see for the world, it comes from a habit. I will bring in my boss, and when I bring on, I know it will do. Not only clap, but celebrate him. Boss, good morning.
Good morning, Toride. How you doing?
No, I did fine. How for you?
Good morning to the audience. Excited to be here, and let's make it happen.
Yeah. Any good news? Any news? Any trending news this week on taxes, on money, on finances, or anything where you feel like, wow, this was interesting. Maybe I
Yeah,
should
there's
share
been a
this.
lot of things happening in
Mm-hmm.
Washington D.C., right? And yeah, there's been a lot of things happening in Washington D.C. that affect the markets. The markets are generally down for the past couple of days,
Mm-hmm.
and but regardless, what's happening? We have all these tariff wars that are going along
Mm-hmm.
between the United States and the EU. The
Mm-hmm.
EU came back with a tariff retaliation on the United States,
Mm-hmm.
France in particular. And what happened? Donald Trump just woke up this morning and said, "Hey, um, he's going to basically put a 200% tariff on any wines, any how do you call them,
Yeah.
champagnes that are coming from France and things like that." So what does that mean? That tells you what we expect from these type of things. When you go on a tariff war,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's who is going to win, who is going to lose. It becomes a big problem for the community. Let's see how this is going to end. My voice is not as great today. I
No,
don't know what
I think
I
your
don't
voice.
know what's going on with my voice, but it's
We,
not as great today.
we're not paying attention to your voice. We're paying attention to the ideas you're sharing with us.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, and like you predicted, because that's I think that's one of the best thing, or one thing I should remind persons. I remember the segment we did, and you said, "Hey, this guy is coming in. It's gonna be a lot of chaos, but I
yes,
want you guys to focus because
yes,
amidst this chaos,
yes.
so many other persons will start
I win.
something wonderful and beautiful, and they will become wealthy for the rest of their life."
That's right.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely, absolutely. When there's chaos, there's always somebody who's winning.
Hmm.
I mean, the government sector is letting a lot of people go. I know that there was a deadline for today in some of the departments of, I think it was the Department of Health or Department, not Health, Department of Education and some government departments, that they had a deadline of today to give a certain number of people that were going to be laid off, that
Hmm.
they were supposed to give it to these numbers on the number of people that was going to be laid off. What does that tell you? It tells you that the government is trying to make it even smaller and smaller and smaller.
Hmm.
And if you're standing here and you are baby, that was what you were doing before. You want
Hmm.
to look at the trend. Where are we going? And then maybe there's an opportunity for you to start your own business, to start a business in that same line. Because what
Hmm.
are they doing? They are not completely eliminating that thing. They are saying that, and this is me, maybe
Yeah,
I'm wrong. They are
yeah.
saying that most of these things that are done by government, they don't want the government to do them anymore. So it doesn't mean that that service is going to be eliminated. They want to be done by the private sector. So somehow, somewhere, whether they are not accepting those people to be doing providing those services, sooner or later, there's going to be need for those services. Those
Mhm.
services are going to be needed. So somehow, what I'm saying is that in any of these situations, let's look for what can we gain in that situation?
Oh.
And that's what the markets are doing. That's what's happening all over the place. We talk about tariffs. Tariff is crazy. When you start
Mhm.
talking about tariffs, crazy the way they are. Because the numbers we're talking about on tariffs, it's more like just telling the other person, I don't want your products anymore. We're going
Mhm.
towards very, very steep isolationism.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of things that are going to be happening in the world. The order is changing, whether we like it, we don't like it. The order is changing. Something is happening in the world, and let's just watch and see where we're going to end with this. But no matter what happens, you want to position yourself in a place where you can take advantage of what's going on.
Yeah, I like you bring up the point isolationism.
Yes,
I hope I pronounce it correctly.
yes.
Which is true because if you look at the administrations before Trump, they were about, oh no, let's allow Russia supply us with gas, let's allow France supply us with wine, we can give them cars, and it was more of like I
A
think Barack
global
Obama and
play.
the rest.
It was
Yeah,
it was a global play.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah. But now, like you said, Trump is initiating. Hey, yeah, I don't think we really want you guys. I think we can survive on our own. Do you think this is a subtle message from him telling the rest of us like, hey, we used to buy wine from France. Nasako, why don't you start making wine and making money from
absolutely,
it? We used to
absolutely.
we used to import rice from Ukraine. Nasako,
Yes.
why don't you become a farmer is that what is happening?
Absolutely. This is what is happening. If there's somebody, let's assume that the drinks, all these things that were being done,
Yeah.
let's assume that for the champagne that's been done in France.
Mm-hmm.
France is the main supplier of champagne. In all the champagnes that we see,
Mm-hmm.
France is the main supplier of champagne. So if you go into the market, it doesn't mean that they have the exclusive knowledge in getting champagne. So
Yeah.
if you're somebody who thinks that that's a market for you, and if somebody was to start selling champagne now in America, guess what? That person become every business that's around champagne today is going to skyrocket. Their
Mm-hmm.
stocks are going to go up. Why? Because there's a big market for them in the United States. The United States is the biggest market, regardless of there are countries that have very large populations, but
Mm-hmm.
America has the capital to pay.
Yeah,
That's
purchasing
why
power.
everybody wants the US market. That's
Yeah.
why Donald Trump is playing. He's playing on the power of America. That's what he's playing on. I don't know whether this is going to be a winning game for him because doesn't only have the positive side, it
Mm-hmm.
also has a lot of negatives as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're praying that at the end of all this, we can gain on everything. We can take advantage on all the positives that we have within here.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we can do. Yes,
Yeah, and from what you're saying, it's obvious that if we decide to start a company today, first of all, you're going to get visibility because right now there's limited champagne in the market, in the shelves, and things like that. So definitely, people are going to give you a try. People are going to pay attention to what you're doing, which is a good place for you to start, rather than
absolutely.
wanting to start when all the French champagnes are still on the shelves, and then you want to come and put your own. You have competitors. So it doesn't matter if maybe like after 1 or 2 or 3 months he comes out and say, you know what, let's reduce this tariff. You must have already introduced something. People must
Yes,
have tried it, and at least you must have built a foundation for yourself, which you can use to grow. Uh,
absolutely. Competing against the most powerful is always very difficult. They
mhm.
have economies of scale. They have
Yeah,
the capacity to produce more. They have the
yeah,
capacity to reduce their prices. They have all other things which are all odds to you who is starting. But
mhm,
if they are already being signed line by all the wars that are going on in the market, guess
yeah,
who is available? You can position yourself in the market.
yeah.
So that's the benefit that we have as small business owners who are starting a business in any of these areas that are going through all this reshuffling that's going on right now. Yes,
But the government actually kicking out some people, or kicking out them, not like kicking them out completely, but hey, can you wait on the side until we get someone who is probably your brother or your uncle start something, and then we'll give them the contract, and then maybe they can bring you into that channel. The government is pressuring other countries, putting all these tariffs on them, probably because they want to encourage local production. What would be
yes.
your advice to our community at this point?
Go and do business. Enter and start producing something. That's
Mhm.
There's nothing bigger than us creating our own economy. Let me
Mhm.
tell you, Trump is saying this. Whether you like it, you don't like it, what will happen is that the next government that comes in, even if it were a democratic government, they will never increase the size of government the way it is today. They
Mhm.
will never. The way it is today, there is reality that, okay, there is a lot of waste in every, I mean, the government has never been audited. Never.
Mhm.
Trump is saying that we are auditing it now. There's going to be a lot of waste that's going to come out of the system. When you talk about DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, what are they doing? It's just saying that the government is going to be audited. That's what it means.
Mhm.
They are out there auditing different departments of the government. Like anything that has never been audited, guess what? They are going to see a lot of dirt. Now, it's a good thing to be audited. Now,
Mhm.
there are also certain things that are going to be done because of their political ideology.
Mhm.
Many things. So, what that means is that the next government that comes in, for those who have been thinking that the government of the United States, I have said this so many times, that
Mhm.
the American government is a small government. It's a small government. The government owns nothing. The government
Mhm.
should do nothing. The government is just there to make the rules for the private sector to play the game.
Yeah.
What these guys are saying, they are saying the same thing in other words. The government, we don't want all these large governments that we're creating, because that's not the intent, that's not the meaning of capitalism.
Mhm.
Now, the way in which they are doing it might be causing some concern for people, but the reality is that capitalism is a small government. It's a very small government. That's the meaning of capitalism.
Mhm.
So at the end of this, at the end of all this, the next government that comes in, they might say, oh, we don't like the fact that he did this. They'll bring some people, they'll do this, they'll do that. But what it would have done is that you will never see the government as large. No, I mean, not in the next 10 years. They'll
Mhm.
come back, but not as much as this. What has it created? It has created opportunity for those who are in the private sector to take on some of those things that the government was trying to do that it could not do well. That's all we're looking at now. Yes.
I had a conversation with someone the other day. They reached out to me and they said some things that caught my attention, especially with you bringing up the whole idea of tariffs and this and that. If you notice, these tariffs are not levied on every other country. These tariffs are levied on specific countries. Do you think it will be an opportunity for countries like where we're coming from to take advantage? Also, start thinking about, okay, you know what? France is not going to ship champagne from France is going to be taxed like this. Maybe we set up a company in Cameroon, produce good champagne for a very cheap price, and then do you think it's a possibility?
Selective tariffs
Yeah.
means that you who is over there, you can play the game. The only problem we have is with this tariff war that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
with this tariff war, I don't know how long it's gonna last. Because
Mm-hmm.
at some point, someone is gonna give up.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is gonna back down. Someone is going, I mean, the stronger economies will resist it.
Yeah.
America is stronger than most of those people. But
Mm-hmm.
all those people are against, if those people put themselves together, because that's what they're trying to play. They want
Yeah.
to play, the EU is coming together.
Yeah.
The EU is joining with some of the allies to come together
In
and build something.
the North
That's
America,
what's
like
going to
that,
happen.
yeah.
And if you look at it from a geostrategic standpoint, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that's good for America. That's me. I may
Mm-hmm.
be wrong. I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
that's not my area of specialty. But
Yeah.
when I look at it, I think that the world is better off being a global market. That's
Yeah.
what I think. The
Mm-hmm.
world is better off being a global market. On that start point where we think we can be isolated and
Mm-hmm.
still win, is going to be for the short run, not for the long run. The long run, many groups will quickly come together and
Mm-hmm.
build themselves, unless, unless, unless we can also find our own people. Because even our best friends like Canada next door
Yeah.
is also in a big problem. They are
Yeah.
no longer, they don't even understand where we stand anymore.
Yeah.
Canada is facing some of the biggest tariffs as well. So basically, as you listen to news every day, you start asking yourself, can America on its
Oh.
own do all these things we're trying to do? And the answer is probably no. I don't think it's I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think it's sustainable. And this is not, I mean, Now, this thing is going to go like this.
Mhm.
And at some point, somebody's going to give in. It's just like the case we had with how do you call them? With Ukraine. With
Yeah.
Ukraine. Ukraine, when they came here, they had their tussle with Donald Trump at the White House. It happened. They started talking as if everything was gonna break
Mhm.
between Ukraine. They went ahead as far as stopping even giving intellectual intelligence, giving private intelligence to them to know what's happening in their territory. We were not giving them intelligence information anymore from the United States. They stopped giving them the aid. How long did it last? 2 days, 3 days. They decided that they had to quickly rearrange
Mhm.
themselves, and they started giving aid back to Ukraine. They started doing this back to Ukraine. Some of these things we are trying is like trying and error. But trial and error on the global market, what is that going to create by me? This is me talking. Some
Yeah.
of these things might end up creating a situation where it is not, unless it is resolved the way we are seeing. Because
Mhm.
Donald Trump, what is he doing? Everything he does is transactional.
Mhm.
Everything he does is transactional. He's doing it because he wants to gain something. He wants to win something. He wants to do this. He wants to own market. He wants to own the mineral rights in Ukraine. He wants
Mhm.
to own these rights in this place. Everything is transactional. Is it good? I like transactions. I like people who are transactional, but it has to be in a very contained manner.
Mhm.
And like I say again, um, you don't know where this is going, because every other day things are going to change. Things are
Mhm.
changing. So if it's not long term, if that thing is not long term, and then you go and start doing that same type of activity in Cameroon.
Mhm.
Let's say in Cameroon, you go and create a champagne market. And before long, these guys reorganize themselves. You find yourself with a very large champagne market that you
That's
don't have.
true.
But again, it will create you something. Go
Mhm.
and create. This is time for you to become
Mhm.
creative and then win on it. As if it becomes long term, you are the winner. In business, it's all about taking risks. When there's a market, something that's happening in the market, you take advantage of it. You are taking advantage for it, knowing that if it happens, you are going to win big. If it doesn't happen, you are going to lose. But you always have a way out. So it is an opportunity for us to go out there and do things,
Mhm.
even if it's for the short run. Go out there and do things and start selling to America. Go out there. Yes.
Now, boss, is there a middle way? Like, now, let me say, if someone was working with somebody like you, with a
Yes.
family office like yours,
Yes.
is it possible for you to structure them in a way that if we decide to go towards individualism, like isolationism, they
Yes.
can win. And even if we decide, you know what, we are going back to what it used to be, which is a global one world order, they can still win. Is it possible for a family? Yeah.
I'll explain that to you very easily. That
Mhm.
is so important that you're bringing this. Let me tell you, one of the things we do. We do One of the biggest things we tell clients is diversification.
Mhm.
To diversify, we provide three things to people. We provide tax strategy, which will make you, we believe very strongly that your wealth is in the taxes you're paying.
Mhm.
That's very, very strongly. Your
Mhm.
wealth is in the taxes you're paying. So when you see somebody who's making $1 million,
Mhm.
his wealth is in the half a million dollars that he's giving to Uncle Sam.
Mhm.
Because if he could take that away from Uncle Sam, he would do crazy stuff that he cannot do with the remaining money in his pocket. The tax code gives you everything to be able to do that. That's number one.
Yeah.
Now, number two. So basically, tax mitigation puts money in your pocket. It puts money in your pocket. Money you
Mhm.
did not have. That's number one. Number two, we're telling you to use that money to build wealth. And we're helping you use that money to build wealth. And how do you build wealth? You build wealth. We have different people who are helping you build wealth.
Mhm.
There's a financial planner who is on the investment side, who is telling
Mhm.
you about what is happening on the stock market, who is helping you invest structurally in the stock market. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, he's showing you the different portfolios in the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, we have also a financial advisor who's telling you about how to structure your retirement, things like
Yeah.
that. Even though these two can come together, they
Yeah.
are separate. And then number three, we're telling you about life insurance, how you can put money in those buckets.
Mm-hmm.
And then number four, which is another source, we are also telling you about investing, doing alternative investments,
Mm-hmm.
oil and gas investments. We
Yeah.
tell you about oil and gas, energy investments. We tell you about investing in real estate. We have a real estate broker. We have loan officers who are there to help you with those structures. What does that mean? It means that when the market is going down in one sector, you have options to go and look at the other sectors and see how the market is doing. The market doesn't just go down, everything is going down. The market, that's why diversification becomes key. So in a market like this, that is very, very volatile, what do? You want to basically do what you call you want to diversify,
Mm-hmm.
and you invest in those buckets. You try to also invest long term. It's not only about short term investments. When you
Yeah.
are when you are investing is about long term. You are not trading. When you put into these things, you want to buy when the market is falling. You want to buy. You want to do something. You want to invest when the market is falling. The market is now for you. Those people want to buy, because
Mm-hmm.
what will happen when the market is going down? It means that it's going to go up.
Yeah.
Yes, but you want to invest for the long term. The long term, all these things we've just talked about, they are going to go up. But in the short term, if you are a person who is looking for cash flow, this is a bad market for you because there's no cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So those are the things. So we structure you and have all these people so that help you to diversify your portfolio, so that you don't fall into some of these things that we are facing today. Yes. So
Wow.
important.
Boss, what would be an advice to someone who is looking to retire? What will you tell them? They want to retire and they want to retire happily. They don't have any plans if they should continue working. They don't have any plans if they should start a business. But what will you do? What should they have in mind? What should they start doing? So maybe when they decide, when they get to that age of retirement, they should at least be in a place that is comfortable and happy.
That's a very, very important question. And I was looking at that question yesterday and the day before with my financial advisor. We have a template, a very clear template
Mm-hmm.
that allows you to tell us where you are today in all detail. It's a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
It tells you where you are today, and then where you want to be when you retire. When are you retiring? Maybe 20 years, in 10 years. And this is excellent for young people who are starting business, who are starting in their careers.
Mm-hmm.
Also excellent for people who are midway through their careers, or even when you are close to retirement. That thing tells you whether you're ready for retirement or you are not ready for retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Because most people don't even know where they are going. Most of us don't know what will happen tomorrow. We are just sleeping and praying, hoping that God will help us tomorrow. And then training our children, hoping that they will spend their lives taking care of us.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the way it works. Children nowadays are not the same like our own children, like who we were
One
to
more
our own
time.
parents.
Yeah.
And it will be hard for, I mean, some of those children, when you send them to school, they don't even have time to call you and say, hey daddy, how are you doing? Or mommy, how are you doing? They are so busy doing their own thing, and
Mm-hmm.
the society is telling them that it is for you and your husband and your children. That's what the society tells them.
Yeah.
So in the societal norms today, there's no place for the parents.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you about American society.
That's why we have
There's no
nursing
place for
homes.
the parents.
That's
They
true.
are telling you, they constantly tell you that what you are doing is for yourself, your spouse, and your kids.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? That you, the father who spent all your time putting all your money thinking they were going to look at you, or the mom who's spending all your time. It's not, they don't care about you. So this is so important. We have this schedule where we basically tell you where you are now. What can you do to make sure when you reach at that age, you're getting at least what you're making now, or
Mm-hmm.
half of what you're making now, or more than what you're making now? That is dependent on you. And then you tell us your risk tolerance. Your risk tolerance. Then
Mm-hmm.
now we can start playing the game towards making sure that You are contributing towards that to make sure you win. Historically, historically, in America and most places, there used to be something called pension plans, called
Yeah.
defined benefit plans. When people went to work, they worked for a company, the company made sure they had a defined benefit plan, which meant that when you retire, you can receive about the same of your last retirement because the company is investing in that defined benefit plan, making sure that with actuarial projections to make sure that the day you leave your job, having served that company, you're getting exactly about the same income you were making. So people could live happily. But that they found that was expensive. No company wants to do it anymore. So now, if you don't contribute for your own self, nobody cares. It's all about what did you put in your 401k. I don't care about what's in that 401k. Did you put it in your 401k? Do you want to live on 401k? Do you think you have enough in 401k? And if you don't have enough, that's why most people die in our communities. Because the day they retire or the day they fall sick, they start seeing that, hey, I don't even have anything. You start worrying even when you still have the money in the bank. Because you see 100,000, it cannot take you to anywhere. So you start worrying, you die before you even spend the money. So it is important, that question you asked about structuring for the next. I mean, if you ask most people, they don't know where they are going. But it's important that you know exactly that in our company, we are going to give that. If you come to our company and you just want only that template, we'll give it to you so that you can fill it out. And then you can come back to us. They will tell you what you need to do now.
Wow.
Because some people, they don't have nothing. Nothing. They are
Wow.
waiting for Social Security. Social Security has nothing inside. There's nothing in Social Security. Or maybe you have a 401k that has $100,000 inside. What will I do for you? Nothing. So that's the problem. That question you asked is critical. People have to take time and meet financial advisors to help them on what they can do now to get to where they want to go.
I think if I remember very well, we had a conversation one time on this social security issue, and then you said something. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I did not get you correctly. But it was something in the lines of there is nothing like a social security bank where money is kept, where they just go and pluck it and come and give. It social security money actually comes from probably the taxes that were paid, maybe the last how many years and stuff like that. Is that right?
Social Security is a Ponzi scheme.
Hmm.
Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme means that most people, Ponzi schemes have people who have created Ponzi schemes have all gone to jail. Social Security is one of those things. So what does that mean? It means that you're creating a bucket and you're taking money from Charles and Njoya today that you are not keeping for Charles and Njoya. Charles Njoya has nothing. There's no account for Charles Njoya in Social Security. Zero. Zero. Your Social Security is what do you have in Social Security? It's just a big bucket. You're just putting money there, and that is the same money they are
They're
taking
giving
and
it to
giving to
another
the
person.
people who contributed 100 years, 50 years ago, and they are now waiting to take their money. Instead of giving them the fruit of their own money that they had worked, they are taking the money that I have today because there's no money inside. It's all empty. That's why nobody has an account called Social Security. Nobody.
Wow.
Yes. Social Security that's why if you don't do anything, Social Security, when they do the projections, it dies within the next 10 years. It's died. It's dead. There's nothing inside.
Wow. Atut Queen is saying thanks for this live session. This has just rekindled me to continue in this sector. And then also she's asking if it's possible to have a one-on-one training. I wish to learn more so I can start up here or start open a branch here. Yeah, that is very, very possible. First, you have to go to his website, book a one-on-one with him. Maybe someone will talk to you and get to enlighten you on what you're supposed to be doing. The website is www.chn advisors. His name is Charles Njoya, CHN advisor. By the way, he has so many content on every social media platform you can think of, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, whether it's TikTok, all of these places. At least start to familiarize yourself with that. But most importantly, go to their website, and you can book a free consultation session where you can talk to someone. And then once you've explained your points and everything, maybe they'll schedule you to talk with the boss himself. But if you tell him that you're coming from Toride, I think you have that privilege, especially for today, to talk with him directly. Yeah, so just go there, make sure they know that you're coming from Toride, and then they will probably schedule something for you as soon as possible. Boss, we are already 30 minutes, and it seemed like it was 2 minutes. But I have some other questions I want to ask you before you leave. Maybe we'll just introduce, and then we'll talk about them in the next session. Now, in all of this, I've not heard anything. I've not heard them say anything about insurance. I don't hear the current administration saying we want to attack the insurance system and this and that. Or maybe I did not follow the news.
I mean, yes. So insurance, what is insurance? People have their insurances in bucket. Let
Mm-hmm.
me tell you, insurance in America is run by the wealthy. They
Mm-hmm.
own the insurance market. We are a capitalist society. If you look at what's happening there, insurance in America, if I would tell people all the time, put your money in insurance. If you can, put your money in insurance, especially in this country. Money is insurance, is your money. You have access to it. It is your money. It is
Mm-hmm.
going, it's secured money that's kept there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, unless something crazy happens, your insurance money is there. And most of these insurance companies, they have been there since 17 something, 17 something. They're not
Mm-hmm.
going anywhere. And most of these people who are playing there, there are people who also they want to preserve what is in there. What
Mm-hmm.
is happening when the stock market is playing up and down? Who are those who are the most affected by that? Most of the people who are the most affected are people who have their 401ks in the stock market. You have a 401k sitting there, and every day you're looking at the 401k is going down, is going up, is playing the game. Insurance is one of those things that is so protected. Insurance, life insurance is a protected bucket by its own. You
Mm-hmm.
don't need to put your life insurance in a trust for
Mm-hmm.
that purpose. If you're putting in a trust, you can have the beneficiary of your life insurance be a trust, but the life insurance itself is properly protected for any eventuality, because it's not only protect, they have a guaranteed trust that is there to take care of them if they were to become bankrupt. So if you
Mm-hmm.
become bankrupt, they too are insured by a federal guarantee company to take care of you. So life insurance has a lot of guarantees.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I don't see where the problem of life insurance would be. Insurance, I am not seated here selling insurance. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
telling people that insurance is one of the big, big places where you can play the game and be very wealthy. I told you one thing just a few minutes ago. I told you about everybody needs to do an assessment of where they are
Mm-hmm.
and what you need for the next years that you're working actively.
Mm-hmm.
That way you are going to prolong your lifespan. That way you're going to prepare for that retirement. That is very, very, you are not certain about what you're going to do. Even millionaires, billionaires in this country. The problem with millionaires in this our community is that we are we are I mean, we don't look at things long term. We are still the mindset is not about building crazy things for the future, but that is the mindset we should be having.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when you see an opportunity where you can sit and then talk about what you can do for the next 10 years to change your story, for the next 5 years to change your story, you want to take that anytime, any day, anywhere. Yes.
Wow. Boss, thank you very, very much. I think we are close to 35 minutes already. We
Yes.
started late. I apologize. It was my fault. This traffic for America. You see me just buy something for store. You realize you go, you go stay with traffic. Thank you again. I don't know if you'll get, however, before we meet on Monday, I think we need to talk on. So I sent you a message. I don't know if you read the message already, but
I did
when you
not.
have time, just, when you have
Yes.
time, just,
Yes. Let's
when
talk
you have
about it.
time, check
Yes.
out, and we'll talk about time.
I am 100% available for that.
Oh, okay. Thank you
Yes.
much. Thank you very much, boss. More talk
Thank
back now.
you. Bye bye.
Guys, free information every Monday, every Thursday. Trust me, I know the type of people this man is talking to. I know the kind of persons he's working with. I know how much they pay him for him to sacrifice this time every Monday and Thursday to just have these conversations with us, for us to just have conversations about the current situation. These are people who stay up at night reading, who stay up at night watching the news, who do their research every now and then. They have their ears in Congress, they have their ears all over, they have their eyes all over, and they still decide to come and serve and give us this information for free. What else do you want? What else do you want? What else do you want? The only way we tell them thank you is just continue to use this information. Follow them on all social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, because the conversations we're having here and what is on YouTube is completely different. We have longer videos on YouTube you can go and watch and educate yourself. We have videos you can even share with your kids. The conversation we are having here with the conversation on the website or the Facebook or the TikTok is completely, this is 30 minutes. How much do you think we can discuss in 30 minutes? But again, I encourage every person follow on all social media. But there are times when he will randomly just post a video because there's something that is happening. Sometimes he will make a tweet. Sometimes he will just do something that, okay, these things actually happen right now. I want you guys to go and buy this stock. If you're not following him, how will you know? How will you take advantage of the situation? These are the kind of persons we're supposed to follow. Let me just put this out there. I saw someone put out a post and they said, "Oh, social media doesn't like black people. Social media is manipulating the algorithm. Only negative things are trending in our community. Only stupid things are trending in our community. Only dancing, bomb bomb, showing your bomb bomb, showing this." Or comedy stuff are trending. I was like, you're so ignorant. You don't even know what you're talking. It is not social media that is making those things trend in our community. It's you and me that is making those things trend in our community. The way the algorithm works is if you start watching Charles Njoya's videos, you start clicking and liking, you start commenting and doing stuff with Charles Njoya's videos. What you are telling the algorithm is that these are the type of things I want on my table. And so anytime Charles Njoya posts a video, you get a notification. Every time somebody like Charles Njoya posts a video, you get a notification. But if we continue to do what we're doing, we're only going to gossip pages, people are shaking their bum bum and all of those stuff. You are technically telling social media, that is what I want. So that is what they will bring to you. So it's about you. It's not about social media or who's controlling social media. It's for you to determine your algorithm, what it brings to your table. And I'll advise you to go with something that is going to help you. Like I said, this man is actually doing a lot of research, putting a lot of money, paying people to do research and things like that to bring this information to us for free. The only way to tell him thank you is to make sure we follow him, is to make sure we are watching his videos, is make sure we are commenting and asking questions, is make sure we're telling other people about him. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you guys on the next one.